How to see if your new shelter dog is going to be aggressive with other dogs. Momo has tried to bite every single animal I've introduced him to. We just adopted him. He was on the kill list. So we are getting to know him right now, kind of figuring out who he is. Is he actually aggressive like we saw at the shelter through that fence? Or is he just too forward and pushy? We don't know. We're going to find out. The way he's acting towards the other dogs right now is very similar to the way he's acting towards the cats and the chickens. He goes forward with a lot of intent, and you can see his mouth starting to open like he wants to grab them. But I don't know if it's the same for him, so we need to find out. When we saw this guy in the shelter, he seemed to have a lot of intent behind a barrier. Obviously, it's not what you want to see. You don't want to see a dog trying to grab anything through a fence, but we need to see what he's going to do without a fence there or a barrier. This guy's run card said that he was really good with other dogs. It's not what we saw at the shelter. It also said that he's terrible with kids, and we've seen the opposite of that. So it's really important that you dig deep and see what your dog is made of. So today we're going to introduce him to two types of dogs. We're going to introduce him to a large female who's super calm. She's more than likely not going to pay much attention to him, which is a really fantastic place to start. This is a very robust little male, so starting with a female should help reduce conflict. After that, we're going to introduce him to my Chihuahua, Tito. Tito's got tons of experience socializing with other dogs. He's a really good barometer. Basically, if this guy comes at him with too much forward energy, Tito's going to most likely either correct him or let him know that he doesn't want him near him. If that does happen, I'm going to be paying attention to what his reaction to that correction is. If a dog's cool, Tito is wagging his tail, he's rubbing up on him, he loves them. If a dog's coming with some shitty energy, Tito's going to let them know. If it does get to the point where Tito feels like he needs to correct him or defend himself, what's his reaction going to be to that? Does it turn him on? Does he kick up and drive? Does he want to kill Tito in that moment? Or does he take that correction well and back off? That's going to be really important information if we get to that point. Keep in mind that this is not his first day out of the shelter. Typically when they come out of the shelter, there's going to be some stress there. He had some diarrhea. I don't know what they were feeding him there, how much they were feeding him. We like to give them a few days to decompress. That alone can really start to show you who the dog actually is away from that stressful environment. Obviously, throughout those days, we live on a ranch. There's animals everywhere. We've gotten to observe. He wants to chase all of my cats. It seems like he wants to grab them. He went at my sheep. He tried to grab them through a fence, which we're not surprised by because he did that at the shelter to a dog. But I really don't know how much intent is actually there or what he is genetically as far as forward aggression goes. So we got to do some poking around and we're going to see what we get. One of the things I noticed at the shelter when we were doing toy play was if I touched him in his rear area, he would turn and snap at me a little bit. And the first day or two that he was here, same thing, even out of drive, not in play. When I touched him on his belly or on his rear, he didn't really trust that too much. I haven't done anything to try to fix it other than just build a cool relationship with him. We haven't done any food work, or much toy play at all here at the ranch. And just through spending time with him, hanging out with him and petting him, he's much more trusting. I can basically touch him anywhere with no negative reactions to that. So keep in mind to take your time with this stuff. These guys have been in a very traumatizing environment. They might not have gotten a lot of physical contact. If they're a very active dog, they might not have gotten the type of physical contact that's going to benefit them when they go to their new home. So just take your time and really get to know the dog before you start influencing them too heavily. Keep in mind also that if you try to do this type of interaction without a leash on, there's going to be a dog fight. More than likely, he's going to push his boundaries too far. So make sure that you have proper equipment, a nice, sturdy, flat collar, a leash that you can grip really well in order to mitigate any problems from happening. So there's a reason that this dog was returned at the shelter, and it's more than likely going to play out throughout this video. My prediction is he's going to push his boundaries. He's going to get really pushy with the dogs and obviously Frankenstein over there. But I don't want to categorize this dog as something that he's not. So really important that we get in there deep and see what's actually making him operate. Please keep in mind that when you first adopt a dog from a shelter, that is not suddenly your best friend. They don't know you, they don't trust you, nor do they probably even care much for you. Dogs don't feel like they owe you anything. Biggest mistake you could make is immediately take your dog to a birthday party or the dog park or the beach and just pray and hope for the best, because more than likely, you're going to be returning that dog within 48 hours. It's your job to protect them. It's your job to put them in positions to win. And if you have any doubts at all, you should really be hiring a professional to come and help you. The best type of dog to introduce him to are calm dogs that are very neutral, that really don't give a shit about him. So over there, we've got Asher. She's perfect for this type of work because she's not going to pay any attention to him. So we'll get to see what his intentions are. Keep in mind that doing this behind a barrier only gives you about 10% of the intel that you actually need. Some dogs have more aggression behind a barrier and have more intent there. As we're doing this, you'll probably notice there's going to be a chicken running around, potentially a cat, and just notice his behavior towards them. Make sure you have a very secure collar and a good leash at hand, because this little dude will take off on you. Yeah, just like that. All right, so I'm going to bring him over to Asher and kind of walk him around. But Asher's really safe. She's not going to attack him. She's not going to hurt him in any way, but he seems just more interested in checking her out at first. So this is a fantastic first step. What we have noticed is that when dogs do engage with him or they do get active towards him, that's where he gets aggressive. So we're going to try to avoid that at first. What do you think, Momo? She's pretty cool, huh? She's so good for this. She's perfect. She's a statue. She couldn't care less. Nice job, buddy. Nice job, little dude. So this allows us to really dig a little deeper and see what his intentions are. It's obvious that he doesn't have an issue with every single dog. Obviously, she's a big female and she's paying no attention to him. So this is probably the easiest position that we could put Momo in. All right, why don't we get her moving a little bit? Just call her over to you and let's see what he does. Yeah, so any action, you can see him completely activate. It's not completely clear if he just wants to roughhouse and play, but it was clear at the shelter that he wanted to get to the other dog through the fence. He's an idiot, dude. Doesn't know if he wants to breed to her or what. Little bite, yeah, little bite on the back. And dude, it might be that he's been bred before. And maybe not on purpose, but see, now he's starting to nip her. Now he's starting to go at her a little bit. And this could just be punky behavior. This could just be him being a dick, but unacceptable nonetheless. Like, it's putting the other dog in a position. Yeah, it's just, yeah, she could absolutely go at him, snap at him, and it just would probably end badly. So the fact that she's paying no attention, hopefully he gets bored of this type of interaction and realizes that it's futile. But it's going to be up to me to prevent anything serious from happening. If he does go to take a bite, I'm absolutely going to stop him with the leash. I'm going to correct him, show him that that's wrong. None of that stuff seemed to work. None of it activated her. And now he's moving on. He's looking for the next best thing. So that's a good sign. It shows that he's not completely obsessive about this type of interaction, but it's still a little bit intense for my taste. So we've got a lot of work to do with this guy. So it seems like excitement is what gets this guy in trouble. It seems like his go-to is to nip and bite. That's why he got returned to the shelter in the first place. He was nipping and biting the owners when he was in an aroused state. He loves to be excited, and when he's excited, he likes to put his mouth on stuff. But he's also so fucking affectionate. Look at this. He's so sweet. You are so sweet. I love him. I'm gonna go grab Tito next. Tito is an awesome barometer for where dogs' minds are at. If Tito warms up to you right away, that means you're doing pretty good. You're a cool guy. If Tito has an issue with you and he's uncomfortable, that means your energy's kind of messed up. So we're gonna check him out with Tito and see what Tito tells us. It'll also be a good opportunity to see what happens if Tito tries to correct him. Does he get pissed off? Does he take that correction well? Does he move on? So again, we're just gathering intel and getting to know him. Tito, come on, Teets. Right away, Tito's telling him to fuck off because he doesn't like the energy he's bringing. There we go. And it seems like he took that well. Teets, come on, Tito. You're okay, buddy. That's encouraging. That's what you want to see. Dog corrects him. He says, hey, you know what? I'm going to back off. I know what that means. Tilly, come on, Titi. Get it. Tilly, lie down. Good boy. That's actually a really good sign. Now, Tito's showing him his teeth. I don't know if you can see that. Super uncomfortable and getting himself out of the situation. Tilly. Come on, baby. But the fact that that stopped him in his tracks is a really, really good sign. If this dog really wanted to hurt Tito badly, that might have turned him on and kicked him up higher into drive, and you'd probably see more intent towards him. So that makes me really happy. Good job, dude. Very nice. So is Momo, our new shelter dog, aggressive towards other dogs? I'm going to say no. As you can see here, he's got a lot of forward energy towards that cat. He was able to forget about Asher because the cat's here. He's got a different motivation right now. But you can see he's just rude. He went up to Asher, he started even rubbing on her a little bit, and then when that didn't get her aroused and get her up and moving, he then started taking swipes at her back. So you can tell that he's really used to pushing the action, but also that's gonna get him into a fight. I wouldn't doubt that he's already been in a few fights with the way that he acts towards the other dogs, but I don't know that I would label this guy as a dog-aggressive dog right now. I think after some training and getting his head in the right place, things are gonna change. That's just my prediction, I could be wrong. But this type of energy towards the cat is similar to the type of energy he had towards the other dogs before he got corrected. It's really critical that you introduce him to the right types of dogs to start and then do your work. You got to train this guy and then we'll see. So stick around.